This week on The Week Ahead, we look at the one-year anniversary of Obamacare and the lessons learned. Plus, we speak with freshman Congressman Scott Rigell about a new plan he has for the government retirement program. Welcome to The Week Ahead. I'm Frank McCaffrey. 1 year ago this week, government-run health care passed in Washington. The plan, seen by many as an attempt by President Barack Obama to show that he could follow through on at least one campaign promise, sought to take over 1/6 of the U.S. economy. For more on this, we turn to ALG President Bill Wilson. Bill, what are some of the biggest weaknesses of Obamacare that have popped up over the last year?
Well, in some ways, there are too many to count. But what we know is that the cost is purely out of any capacity of the country to pay, and that even the Obama administration isn't sold on it, given the fact that it's given thousands of waivers. What kind of a law is so important and so essential that you can then turn around and tell thousands of entities it doesn't apply to you? If anything, the Obama healthcare legislation has gotten far worse the more we've gotten to know it. Remember, we were promised that if we would just pass the bill, we could find out what was in it and we'd love it. Well, they passed the bill through trickery and a little bit of deceit. We are finding out what's in it every day, another surprise, and far from loving it, it's more offensive, more costly, more damaging and destructive than any of us realized a year ago when this abomination was forced into law.
Thank you very much, Bill. Congressman Scott Rigell of Virginia has left the shores of Virginia Beach to head to Washington and fight government spending. He spoke with Americans for Limited Government about his plan for the government retirement program.
I feel very strongly in the principle of leadership by example. I learned that at Parris Island in 1978 from those young drill instructors. There was not one thing that they didn't ask of us that they did not first do themselves. And I think that principle is largely absent in this body, in Congress.
Congressman Scott Rigell says he is trying to change Congress and not let them change him. His first bill introduces the idea of reforming the government retirement program.
The first step to me was to introduce the Lead by Example Act. It's been well received, and it's a very simple bill. What it says is that for the Thrift savings plan, which is somewhat like a 401k, and that members of Congress enjoy, where they can get up to a 5% match. If they put in 5%, the taxpayers put in an additional 5%, that the only way and the only time that members could receive that is when the deficit for the year coming up is less than the prior year. It can just be by $1. I wanted to make sure it was achievable, or else, frankly, we wouldn't get any support.
The Virginia lawmaker says his idea is performance-based.
If we fail the American people and the deficit rises, then just like in the private sector, no bonus.
He realizes that he has to do something with his fellow leaders to save us from financial catastrophe.
I live on the Chesapeake Bay. It's a great privilege, and every now and then we'll put out our crab pots off our porch and throw in a chicken neck or something like that, and a couple days later you can pull up and you have maybe 15 or 20, if you're lucky, crabs. And as you pull them up onto the dock, and they're all fighting each other. They're just fighting each other, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, if they only knew what's about to happen. And when I open up that little gate to throw them in the pot, if they were smart, they'd say, you know what? Our only hope here is that as soon as he opens up that little gate, we're all going to attack him, and maybe 4 or 5 of us will end up back in the water. And I really think that's what we're doing now, is we're just sniping at each other, and we're not listening in some sense. And if something's got to give here.
Rigell tells us that he's been looking at balance sheets for decades. Prior to his career in politics, he ran auto dealerships. And that's all the time we have for The Week Ahead. Please join us again next time. For more on this and other topics, visit netrightdaily.com.